Hi everyone, today we'll be seeing about conditional statements in Java. Conditional statements include if, else, and switch. Let's see an example of if. So, if is used when you want to execute a block of statement when a specific condition is true. Example, if we want to check a number is divisible by 3, we can use if. So, let's code it up. So, we want to check if num equals 12. So we want to check if this num is divisible by 3. So we can check if num modulus operator 3 equal to 0. So when you divide num by 3, if the remainder is 0, then it is divisible by 3. So divisible by 3. So let's run this code. We get divisible by 3. So let's say if I want to change this 12 to something like 11. So let's run this code now. We don't get any output. So what happens here is we assign some number to num and we check if this num is divisible by 3. So how we check is that divide this num by 3 and check the remainder is equal to 0 or not. When this condition is true, this block or statement gets executed. When it is false, it goes on to the control goes on to here. So now there is nothing here. So let's give an s out exiting and let's run this code now. So you get exiting. So the next one is else. Else is used with if. Else block is executed when the condition inside this if fails. So if we are going to add up an else here, and we can give s out else block. When we run this code, we'll get else block here. So if we change this back to 12 and we run this code, we'll get divisible by 3 and then exiting. So the main thing here is that only the if block or the else block is going to be executed, and which one is going to be executed is based on what the output of this condition is. If it is true, this if block will be executed, and if it is false, this else block will be executed. So a common example for this would be checking if a number is even or odd. So we can check that by if the number is divisible by 2, we can say it is even, and if it is not divisible by 2, we can say it is odd. And when we run this code, you'll get even here because 12 is even. And when we change this to 11, when we run this code, we'll get odd. We can use this in any combinations. We can have if inside an if, and if inside an else, anything like that. So a common example for something like that would be checking the greatest of 3 numbers. So let's say let's remove this code now. So let's say we have a equal to 3, b equal to 10, and c equal to 1. So if we want to check which one of these 3 are greatest, we will check for first if a is greater than b, and if it is greater, we will check if a is greater than c, and if a is still greater than c, we'll give s out a, and if a is not greater than c, we can give else here. C here. First is checks if a is greater than b. So if a is greater than b, we'll check if a is greater than c. So if A is greater than C and B, we'll know that A is the greatest number. So if A is not greater than B, we know that A is less than C, and since A is greater than B, we know C is the greatest number. So what if B is greater than A? So we can give that condition as else here, and we need to check if B or C is greater. So if B is greater than C, we can system dot out of B, and else C is the greatest number. So if we run this code, we should be getting 10, because when A is, we check A is greater than B, so 3 is greater than B, 10, that's false, so it will go here, and we'll check if B is greater than C, so B value is 10 and C value is 1. So 10 is greater than 1, obviously, so it will go inside and print out this 10 here. So let's run this code just to be sure, and we get 10. So this particular case here is called nested if else structure. So you have if inside and if. And there is one more unique structure that we can form with if and else. So it is called an if else ladder. So let's take an example where I have an uh, int number of the range 1 to 5, and I want to print that print that number in words. So let's remove this whole code here, and I have only one number, so let's name it num equal 3. So if I want to print this number as 1, 2, 3, so I would check if num equal to 1, I want to print 1, and if it is not 1, so we'll give an else, and if it is 2, so num equal to 2, we want to print so 2, and if it is not 2, if it is not 1 and 2, we need to check if it is 3. So we'll give an else here, and we'll check if it is 3, and if it is not 1, 2 and 3, we should check if it is 4. So if it is not 4, we should check if it is 5. So I'll just copy and paste it and change this to 5 and change this to 5. If it is not 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5, we'll print if it has invalid. So else, if none of the above satisfies, we'll print system.out.println invalid number. As per our input value, this one will be false, so it will go to the next one. It will check if number equal to 2, it will also be false, and it will go here, number equal to 3, it will be 3, this whole code will be executed, and then this else block won't be executed, and this else block won't be executed, it will go right here. So we have a printout statement here exiting. After this 3, exiting will be print. So we'll run the code, and we get 3 and then exit it. So let's say if we change it to something like 7, we'll check if 1 equal to 1, it's false, 2 false, 3, 4, 5 all will be false, and it will come here and it will print out invalid number. So let's check if it is working. Great, we get invalid number. Now that we have seen if and else, we'll move on to switch. A switch statement allows to check equality of an expression or a variable to multiple values. We can think of switch as a special case of if-else ladder where you can check the equality of same variable in each if condition. So we can do the same code in switch. So let's remove the whole stuff. The syntax of switch is something like this. Switch, and we have to give a variable or an expression here. Let's give a variable, and we'll have case and then a value uh, to check the equality of this the expression here and the value, and we'll have a break, and we will have the next case to check the equality, and we have a break. So if none of these cases pass out, we want a default statement to print out something like it is an invalid number. So we have the default keyword here for that exact purpose. So we'll say system.out.println invalid number. So if it is 1, we want to print out 1, and if it is 2, we want to print out 2 here, and the same thing goes for 3, 4, and 5. So let's change this to 3, 4, and 5. Let's run this code. We get invalid number because the number here given here is 7 and none of the case values match 7. So let's change this something to 1 and we run it. And we get 1. So let's change this to 3. And we get 3 and exiting. And what if we don't have this break? So how switch case works is, so it checks if this number is equal to this case value here, and it starts to if it is true, it starts to execute everything below it. So if we say if we don't have this break statements here for 3 and 4, and let's say I have num equal to 3, when it executes, it checks if case 1 equal to 2, if number equal to 1, no, and if num equal to 2, it's not. When it checks if num equal to 3, yes, it is. So it executes this statement and then goes for case equal to 4, and it executes this one as well. And then if it checks if it has any break, if we don't have any break, it goes and prints out this as well. And when you see a break, it goes out of the switch statement. So if I don't have this break, it will print the invalid number as well. So let's run this code. For this code, you should get 3, 4, and 5. This is called fall through. So it is falling through each cases without checking the actual value. So let's run this code. You get 3, 4, 5 and exiting. So let's give 2 here just to show you that when you give a break, it goes out and doesn't print 3. So run this. Yes, it prints only 2 because it comes to, it checks if it is 1, no, and if it checks if it is 2, yes. So it comes in and it prints out this 2 here, and it sees this break keyword and immediately goes after the switch and goes here and prints out exiting. So if we don't have this break here, and if you don't have this break here and all this breaks, if you give 1, you'll be printing everything after 1. So check, you get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and invalid number. So it is important when you use case, you should write break for each case block that you write. And that's it, guys. See you in the next video.